From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Right now, get a great deal on the durable Kubota RTVX. When there's work to do and a reputation to uphold, it's built to haul it all and do it all. Half-ton capabilities with attachments to get the job done right. And industry-exclusive heavy-duty features. It's North America's #1 selling diesel utility vehicle. Now, get the RTVX for 0 down, 0% APR for 36 months or save $300.
Tractors, RTV, construction equipment. You do it all, we do it local.
Good evening, everyone. Before we get to the forecast, I want to talk to you about the Montague Hot Air Balloon Festival. Well, they've been doing this for years, and it starts this Friday. They'll have their first launch Friday morning at 7 a.m. and then 7 p.m. Spectacular sight. They're going to have the night glow. Look at all the great events they have on Saturday. So, of course, they'll do the launch at 7 a.m., so try to get there early. And then they've got a car show, tether rides, they've got a balloon fair dinner, they've also got music. And then, of course, Sunday, they'll be doing that last launch. So be sure to check that out. Of course, it's going to be weather pending, and we'll have to kind of watch the forecast as we go into the weekend. So it's this Friday through Sunday. Be sure to check that out. All right, before we get to that, of course, we're going to talk about now. I want to show you the satellite image here. Now, it's been smoky in some spots here. Can't see it too clearly in the valley, but there certainly has been some smoke, especially the north end of the valley. I went for a run this afternoon, and there definitely was that faint smell of smoke out there. That's all coming, of course, from the fires in the north and west. Now, we've got the fire in southwest Oregon, and that's been riding down the coast, and it is creating some hazy and smoky conditions for parts of the coast as well. We also have a fire out towards southeastern or southern Oregon that will eventually be impacting our smoke forecast as well. So the smoke has certainly been a bit of an issue. Now, I want to show you the air quality, and let's go ahead and get up in here. Here's the air quality. So what we're seeing here, I'm going to go ahead and refresh. There it is. So you can see in the valley, I mean, you're looking at kind of in that moderate air quality here. So definitely on the west side of Redding is where we're seeing most of that smoke. And then, of course, look at the coast here. This is around Eureka, looking at some pretty poor air quality there as well. And you head up the coast, it gets a little bit better. Still a little hazy in spots there, but overall, we are certainly seeing some pretty poor air quality out there, especially on the west side. You'll notice as we kind of get to the east side, it doesn't seem to be quite as bad. All right, so let's get you to the forecast now, and we're going to take a look at those cameras here. And this is actually just north of Trinidad at Elk Country. You can definitely see the haze and that smoke out there that's kind of lingering even in the Trinidad area. Now, we take you up north into Crescent City, and a lot of that smoke has moved a little bit closer and even a little bit hazy. You saw that the air quality was a bit better up north in Crescent City, but still seeing some of that haze there as well. Can't see it too clearly on this image here for the valley, but there is some haze and there has been a little bit of smoke out there as well. So we're certainly still feeling the impacts of that. But kind of outside of the smoke now, we've got the big temperature drop this week with the possibility for some mountain showers and thunderstorms and some elevated winds come Thursday. We'll take a closer look at that in a second here. And then cooler with the possibility for some rain by the end of this weekend and early next week. And that includes everyone. So let's take a look at that smoke forecast, taking you to tomorrow morning. There's that southern Oregon fire producing some smoke, and that is what's actually going to be impacting some of the haze and smoke we'll see tomorrow morning for the valley. And of course, we've got that smoke and haze off into western Siskiyou County, Del Norte, and Humboldt counties. And it looks like we just have some widespread haze and smoke for almost all of Northern California tomorrow afternoon and evening. And then it looks like as we go into Friday morning, still areas of patchy haze and smoke out there. So a lot of the smoke from the fires in southern Oregon are actually having an impact on our air quality, not to mention, of course, the fires out in northwestern California. So here's the big picture. I've got my eyes on this area of low pressure right here. It is diving down to the south. It's something I've actually been talking about for quite some time, and we're going to take a look at futurecasts and see how that will impact our weather here. Of course, as we take you into this evening, of course, no rain, but notice what happens. So there's that area of low pressure diving down to the south. Now, this area of low pressure is going to pretty much stay to our north and east. That's important because the flow around that low is mainly just going to bring the showers and thunderstorms in Modoc County. It may touch parts of eastern Siskiyou County and maybe even northern portions of Lassen County, but For the most part, I think it's mainly going to be in the Modoc County area. With that said, we have also got this area of low pressure that can typically bring us gusty winds when it's in that particular location. A lot of times we get these inside sliders, and those give us gusty winds. So there's that north flow of winds that we're going to have here as we go into this evening and through the day on Thursday, giving us some strong winds out there and creating some higher fire danger. We'll get into that a little bit later. But then that area of low pressure shoots off to the east, and we have ourselves much calmer winds, and not to mention dry conditions for all of Northern California. Now, the long range as far as rain is concerned, the forecast models are now backing off on Sunday for most of Northern California. So I'm taking most of the rain out on Sunday for most of us. But you can see 4 p.m., there's a chance for showers making its way into the coast and maybe even parts of the inland areas in Trinity County. But it's going to take a while because it's not until noon on Monday that's really beginning to push through. You've got the heavier rainfall for Trinity County, and not to mention along the coast as well. But notice everywhere else, it's still fairly dry. So I'd say by sometime Monday evening, Monday night, the valley getting in on it, Siskiyou County seeing it, and we're just beginning to see the eastern mountains get in on it as well. But really not until, say, Monday night into Tuesday morning that the eastern mountains will see some of that activity. Now that'll scoot on out by Tuesday afternoon. We do have a little bit more instability here that could impact Tuesday afternoon and evening along the coast. Otherwise, it dries out as we go into Tuesday night, and not to mention for your Wednesday. So looks like we're still seeing that potential. Now, the gusty winds that we expect to see here tonight along the coast will die down tomorrow morning, but we are seeing those gusty winds for the valley. So you see the yellows and greens, that's upwards of around 30 mile an hour sustained winds, right? So we could see gusts 35, maybe 40 miles per hour. Dry north winds, that's going to, of course, elevate that fire danger. Now, by 5 p.m. tomorrow, you see how the winds are not quite as strong. So I'm not as quite concerned about the winds by then. And of course, by Friday, the wind's no longer really a factor at all. Here's your fire weather risk. This is taking a look at 3 different factors: temperatures, winds, how strong they'll be, and how much moisture is in the atmosphere. So here we are Thursday around noon when we expect some of the highest fire danger, especially on the east side of the valley here. And then as we go into Thursday night and into Friday, no longer much of a fire weather risk out there. So there's the fire weather alerts. We've got the red flag warning for the valley and the surrounding foothills from 11 o'clock tonight until 5 p.m. Thursday. Of course, those gusty winds and low humidity I was talking about. Here's the frost advisory for western Siskiyou County for 2 o'clock a.m. until 9 a.m. on Thursday. There's also a freeze warning for most of Modoc County and northeastern Siskiyou County, also from 2 a.m. until 9 a.m. on Thursday. Look at that, lows dropping to as low as 19 degrees there. That could certainly be a problem here, especially for ranchers and farmers. Let's take a look at your wave heights as we take you into Thursday afternoon. You can see they're beginning to drop, but still fairly high, between 9 and 10 feet. They should continue to drop as we go into Friday and through the weekend. There's a marine forecast for tomorrow. North winds at 15 to 25 knots. Your waves from the north at 12 feet at 10 seconds. And there's your low tide, 9:50 tomorrow morning, and your high tide at 4:24 in the afternoon. There is a gale warning in the morning, and then that should subside as those wave heights begin to drop as well. All right, so here's what it looks like for tonight. We're going to be looking at some smoke and haze along the coast and even some of the inland areas as well. Otherwise, mainly clear skies out there for tonight. And you can see for tomorrow, yeah, we've got those temperatures in the low 80s for the valley. So temperatures are starting to drop. I've got the chance for showers and thunderstorms in Modoc County. I've taken that chance out for places like Bernie and Susanville. But I'll be honest, I mean, some of eastern Siskiyou County and parts of northern Lassen County could get caught up in that. And it's not entirely out of the question for places like Bernie to maybe see some activity on Thursday as well. Otherwise, that's really going to be the extent of the thunderstorm activity, and it's going to be until the second half of the day. So here's a look at your 7-day outlook. And you can see I've taken out any chances for rain from Mount Shasta through Sunday. But then by Monday, Tuesday, that's when we can see a chance for some of that shower activity. Best chance will be midday to Monday into Monday afternoon. And that's the case for Alturas and Susanville as well. So really, Alturas minus, of course, Thursday's activity. Tomorrow, we could be looking at dry conditions here for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Let's take you up toward the valley. And of course, we're looking at dry conditions also through Sunday. Again, I've taken that chance out on Sunday. I think it's going to back off and hold off until Monday, and then a slight chance going into Tuesday before drying out entirely by Wednesday. Here's your 7-day outlook for the North Coast. And what we've got are those hazy and smoky skies again, unfortunately, for many of us along the coast. But we are expecting showers as soon as Sunday for the North Coast. That could include the inland areas and not to mention Trinity County as well. But I'll be honest, I think the chances will be slimmer as you start heading inland and into the mountains. There is, of course, that rain on Monday. Chance for showers continuing on to Tuesday before it dries out entirely. But look how cooler it is, too. Low to mid 70s for the inland areas for your Sunday through the middle of next week. Could even see some mid to upper 60s for Weaverville for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.